All right, Anthony, I'm going to start this podcast differently. I'm going to tell you a story. You may have heard it before. I woke up on a beach, I crafted a stick, and I beat a sheep to death. and, and I was thinking, what the fuck am I playing? This episode of Prof and Dev Play Games, episode 416, we're going to talk about Palworld a bit. We're going to talk about the developer_direct and what we've been playing. This is Prof and Dev Play Games. My name is Larry. I am a professor, and I play games. Over there is Anthony. He makes games, and he plays games, and we podcast about games. Welcome, and holy shit, I thought I was doing it wrong when I started playing Palworld, man.
Oh, I'm sure. And I think the version that you were playing is different than the version I was playing. So, and I've pretty much read that that's true. So
interesting, because like it started off like I put a crafting bench down, crafted a weapon, basically a stick, and I was like, I don't have Pokeballs basically to throw at these animals. So am I supposed to kill them? So I just beat it to death with a stick, and I felt really bad. And I was like, I think I'm doing this wrong, but I got experience points for it, and I was like, okay, maybe I'm doing this right.
Partially,
and then,
yes.
I eventually was able to craft the balls and start capturing them.
Yes.
But how is that different than what you played?
So I didn't start anywhere on a beat. It actually like started me in like a temple type thing, and I had to get out of it. I had very clear objectives to do. Like I had a list of objectives to get through, and I had like a immediate fast travel point that I activated. And, like, it guided me through base building. Find a place to build a base, build your base, move along. Like I said, the Steam version that launched, that now... Well, as of this morning, 4 million people have bought on Steam.
Yeah.
Is, like, 6 months newer than what Game Pass has.
Interesting. I mean, I guess they've got to go through cert and everything else for...
I don't think it's just that. I'm like, is this just... Is this a loophole in Game Pass with this? People were able to play this game on Game Pass for a while.
I don't think it was a loophole because they were advertising. Xbox was. Sarah Bond was talking about it. Blah blah.
Well, something happened on Game Pass that messed it up because the Steam version has way more features.
I wonder if it's just literally just behind. Like, it was a different game. I forget which one it was. It was talking about how early access for Steam would have these features, and then it would come to console. I don't know, 3 months later or something like that. Is that not normal? I don't usually play early access on Xbox, so this is my first time.
It doesn't have to be. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, we did cert for Astroneer across all the platforms and could release day and date.
Well, this one's clearly not. It was sort of janky. It was fun. It's not really my type of game.
6 months ago was definitely janky. Watching videos. Like,
yeah, it's janky.
This new one, the new version, not nearly as janky. Like,
really interesting.
No, it's much cleaner. I get why people are having fun with it.
I'm gonna head back to Twitch and just watch someone stream because it's like the most streamed one on Twitch.
I mean, I'm not saying it's not potentially janky in different ways.
Yeah, of course,
but,
I understand. Yeah,
not in a way that's like crazy off-putting. Immediately, it definitely feels a bit more guided. Man, it's a weird game. I really just picked it up for research sake for myself, because that's not exactly what I would play. But when 4 million people buy a game within 48 hours, just over 48 hours, I'm going to take notice as a game developer and want to see, well, why? Like, why is this... And there's word of mouth happening now, but... Sure. There's still a nugget of something there that is causing that word of mouth. That people are recommending, hey, you should play this.
Is it that people want more out of Pokemon, and this is giving it to them?
I mean, that's possible.
Yeah. People want more out of survival games. I love the idea that you can automate the boring stuff at your base.
With the pals, the fake Pokemons.
With your slaves.
Kind of. It never feels like that because they don't really have a personality, I will say. It just feels like, you're getting things that do things at your base. I have not had an emotional attachment to them, and I played it for like 3 hours. Today,
there's
just trying it out.
100 of the same kind, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And I was definitely pushing further out by hour 2, like really pushing out, and I probably found about 10 different type. So
the fact that you can play multiplayer too.
Yep, and you have server, and you have dedicated servers, so you have your own personal server.
At least on the Steam version. On the Steam version, on the Xbox side, it's like 4 people total.
Yeah,
and you host the server yourself, I believe, which is
sure.
Fun.
Yeah, you can host a dedicated server through Steam, which is, I mean, this game is Ark.
Yeah, exactly.
But the animals are cuter and do things for you. And someone actually brought up the Conan Exiles survival crafting game. Actually did have slaves, and you could make them do work in your base.
Oh God,
which fits Conan, I guess.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
But still, it's just like, I don't think this game is doing anything particularly new in any way. Yeah. It's executing the elements well, and it's combining them in a way that's pretty novel overall.
Yeah, the combination is the thing. It looks like.
Yeah, the whole is definitely greater than the sum of its parts. It's very interesting though, but I can't believe how much it's blew up.
Yeah, it's interesting because I heard about it beforehand. I mean, obviously, I knew about it before we drafted, and I was like, this is hitting early access. Like, nah, this is probably not something that I'm
probably going to be so janky.
Well, yeah, I don't think this is going to be something that's going to score well or be of much interest to a large group of people, and I was completely wrong.
Yeah.
Also, it looks like it's ripping off Pokemon real bad, but whatever.
Yeah, it totally is.
I guess that's my question from a game design perspective. You can't copyright like systems, I believe is what you said, but you can copyright, whatever characters and IP.
And and they have to be careful there. But I would say also nothing that they have is specifically looks like another Pokemon.
No, they just look like Pokemon that could be created.
Cute creatures, and this wouldn't be the first game on the market that's done.
No, Digimon.
Cute collectible creatures. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think they legally have to worry about much of anything.
No, I don't think they'd be getting such a huge push from Xbox. If they had anything to worry about.
There are currently 916,000 players on Steam right now.
Goddamn, did it blow? It blew up to the second fastest.
No, it's number one right now. CS Counter-Strike 2 has half the players that Palworld has right now.
Crazy.
Palworld peaked at just round up 1.3 million players in the past 24 hours.
And it's the second fastest game ever to get to 1 million concurrents. Only Cyberpunk is above it.
Yep.
And wow, like this is your 2024 bingo card. This was not on it.
No, I don't think it was on anybody's. Pokemon with guns. Yes, it does have guns. It's a shooter as well. Although I don't have a gun yet.
Well, I'm watching a stream right now where they just did a raid and a dungeon at least, and he's got a gun.
Yeah, I figure they're later in the tech progression. Because I will say that it does have a general, like when I tell you all the different parts, it has generally a good feeling tech progression to it. Leveling, base building feels fine. No worse than like Valheim or anything like that.
Like
you said, it has bosses, it has raids, it has dungeons. So there's like this whole big single player aspect to it. It has like stuff just hidden in the map to find that give you benefits. Like you want to go a kind of Korok Seedish type things that you're finding. They're not puzzles. They're just hidden in little places on the edges of the map. You can go find. You're like one-time collectibles that you can use to then improve different stats on your pals. I don't know. It's a lot of ideas that are generally pretty well executed together. That just, I can see the gameplay loop of just driving a person forward, and then depending on what you want to be doing, the game will provide to you different avenues of compelling gameplay. It's crazy. I told my son about this game. I was like, "Have you heard of Palworld?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I heard about it because it's the same people that made a game called Craftopia."
Yes, exactly.
Which is still in early access. I don't know how that's going to be working.
That's weird. People were citing it today on the PS5 sub Reddit, where they're like, "This game ain't coming to PS5 because Craftopia never did." And I was like, "Oh, okay. I guess that's a game they made."
It was, and I'm pretty sure Craftopia is still early access. I think people were like, why are you doing another game? Which, my only thing they did put a December 21st, 2023, they did put a roadmap for Craftopia. And they're still going to be working on it. We'll see if they do. My other thing is I'm like, how well did Craftopia end up doing overall?
Yeah, exactly. Right.
And it's just like, fine, we want to stay afloat as a company. We have to make another game.
Well, they might want to prioritize this one and update this one as fast as they fucking can.
Now I'm actually, there's mixed review. Oh, Craftopia is being review bombed.
Oh, because they dropped it for this one?
Yeah, or because all the reviews are basically like, you guys put out another game before finishing this one.
Yeah.
Which...
Oh, yeah, I see that. Yep.
Yep, they're saying it's abandoned for Palworld. And maybe it will be, but, I mean, they put a patch out a couple weeks ago.
Craftopia's been out since 2020. They should have just put the last patch and said, this is 1.0.
Yeah, pretty much.
I can see a little bit of like Breath of the Wild influence on this.
My son really wanted Craftopia. He got it. It's basically Breath of the Wild meets Genshin meets crafting survival game.
That's exactly what it looks like.
It 100% is.
Yeah.
He had a blast with it, though.
It's nice when visually they can hit something that's like very immediately obvious. Also, just Pokemon with guns, smart.
I mean, it's an easy sell. It's really funny though, because that's what a lot of people are like. Oh, it's just this Palworld's just this edgy game with Pokemon guns. Again, I'm in there and I'm like, haven't seen a gun yet in 3 hours. Like this, that's clearly not like the main thing of the game. The crafting survival progression piece seems to be the main thing.
Yeah. Have you tried this on Steam Deck?
No, I've heard it.
Okay.
I've heard people saying it plays fine on Steam Deck. Roughly.
It says playable, but then everything is yellow. Like there's nothing that's green.
That doesn't surprise
which is fine.
me.
Yeah, which is probably fine, but you can still get to play. Because some people can get unsupported games to play on Steam Deck, I thought.
Yeah, I did. That was what people... The only thing I'd heard with Palworld is that it's not perfect with controller yet. Like, it's just not. They have not done a controller pass on it yet, so there may be things
I'm playing it with a controller on Xbox, and it, it's decent. I don't know. Wait.
But yeah,
Valheim
it's a thing.
Go ahead. Sorry. Valheim is still early access?
Yeah.
What? Okay. I had no idea that was still early access.
They are very slow with their updates. Because they do like just big, meaty... They do small patches, but then they do big patches when they...
Interesting. Okay. Well, it's telling me that Craftopia is similar to Valheim and Astroneer.
Correct. That sounds about right. And Palworld is similar to... Yeah. Arc. Factorio. Oh, yeah, because I guess it does have more of a craft automation element to it. So you could build bases where you have, like, efficient production of goods and items. It's a crazy game. I do think, back to your first point, I do think this is showing that the Pokemon style of game and all, there's a lot of people that love that type of game, creature collecting, and Nintendo really hasn't done a lot with it in the end.
Well, I think the cracks really started to show with Scarvi, where it's like, this is a fun game, but the technical limitations, not of the Switch, because fucking Tears of the Kingdom runs on it really well. Thanks, Monolith Soft. It's fucking Pokemon Company, and it's just like they haven't evolved it, and this is like that evolved. It seems.
Yeah, they're just trying to do something new with that type of gameplay, and that's something.
There's a guy I'm watching here doing another dungeon here who's got a gun shooting this fucking cartoony, cute fucking Pokemon Tyrannosaurus Rex. It's just like, it's very jarring. The player design versus the Pokemon design.
Oh yeah,
God, this is wild, dude.
It is a wild game.
That's about it.
But there's definitely I don't know. It's definitely hitting the right beats and clearly finding an audience is the thing with it. Like, it's not... Honestly, when I say jank and everything, like we talked about, Lethal Company was also pretty damn janky, but it hit the right beats for players, and it's still compelling even with jankiness.
Well, that's an interesting comparison, because we were talking about Lethal Company, I fucking think it was last week.
Yeah.
And we were talking about how, like, this kind of out of nowhere hit doesn't happen very often. And then, like, the next week it's happened again, you know, and it's not quite out of nowhere. But what the hell?
Yeah.
This is the sales on this thing are crazy.
Yeah, and it's not cheap necessarily. It's $30 normally. It's 10% off right now.
10% off, exactly.
Because it did its Steam launch. But I mean, I'm like, it's a reasonable price. They're not like selling this thing for $10. It's a $30 game. It has a bunch of content, but it kind of is in line with the other games of this genre. I will say that this genre, the survival building crafting game, generally does very well on Steam. Like, that is a genre that Steam likes.
Yeah, right. And Twitch, apparently.
And Twitch as well. I think those all go hand in hand. It is crazy. And I'm probably going to play more of it. I just want to push further into it and see more of the content, what they have. I mean, you can get flying and riding mounts in the game.
I'm watching the guy, he's riding a Pokemon right now. It reminds me so much of Arceus, where, and I don't know if other Pokemon games you can ride Pokemon, but Arceus you can.
You can in some other, like, newer ones. Some.
Okay, yeah.
Arceus is the only one that's, like, very freeform in that way.
Yeah, because this reminds me, you know, playing it last night and then watching it now, like, it reminds me very much of Arceus. Not the survival part, obviously, but just the Pokemon part. Very cool. Well, we'll be talking more about this, I'm sure. If it plays well on Steam Deck, maybe I'll pick it up. Because I don't know. I wonder how much. I wish maybe I'll go back and see the beginning of the Steam version, if it is that wildly different. But
I think it is. At least I felt guided. Did you feel guided through what you needed to do?
Well, it had like things up in the upper right hand corner. It was like, do this, do this, do this. So it had that.
Okay. I mean, maybe, and I don't know. Maybe you start out in different places, but
yeah, maybe. I woke up on a beach.
I did not wake up at a beach. I woke up in very clearly woke up in a temple.
Yeah. I mean, I'm near a temple, I guess. Like, I put one of my base items in there, I think. Oh, it's cool. It's really cool. So
yeah,
awesome.
So I'm sure we'll continue to talk about this one. At least I will probably over this, like, next week. I expect I'll talk about this more, and especially now that I'm getting back to work as well. I'm sure I'm going to have conversations with coworkers about this game.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But that's happened, which is really weird because all I hear people talking about is Palworld and not the thing that we're also talking about, which happened on Friday, I think.
It was the 18th. Was the 18th Friday?
Yes.
Yep, that's not how that works. Thursday. Yeah.
Thursday was the 18th.
Yeah. I am surprised too, because I intended to talk about the developer_direct first today, and instead we started talking about Palworld. So the developer_direct happened, and this is the second one. I think I've heard that Tina Amini's communications team is the one who's leading this, and it kind of, if that's true, I can tell because she got hired by Xbox from IGN, 6 months before the first one, and this is just a different approach from Xbox, where it's just like Phil Spencer's not here. Like, Howard was there for a little bit, but mainly it's just like, here are the developers talking about their game, and I just really like that approach.
Yes. It's not a lot of games. They're not trying to, like, shotgun all sorts of different things out. It's like, no, here's like 15 minutes per game, 10 to 15 minutes per game, show you the content, let the developers talk about the game that they're making. Which was very interesting. It was not exactly what I expected going into it, but it's cool.
Yeah, it's really, last time it was like, here are 4 games and then a shadow drop 5th game. Here are games to care about. They're coming out this year. They didn't quite do that with this one. They gave some dates, but it really does feel like these are all this year games.
They're trying. There are 2 that I wouldn't bet anything on them coming out. They could, but I just, if If I was betting man, I would not put money on these.
You might want to counterpick me then.
I'm not yet. I can wait.
Okay.
I got time to wait, and I saw that you got a bunch of them.
I did. I was like, I didn't
even think about this thing until today when you reminded me.
Oh, okay. Well, strategically, I didn't mention it to you until the draft passed on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, I was just out with a friend. I didn't pay any attention. Like,
yeah.
I briefly saw something about the Indiana Jones game, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's a thing, and didn't even connect it to this Microsoft presentation.
That's your problem. You have friends. I make sure not to have friends.
There you go.
So how do you want to tackle this? You want to tackle the big one first or go in order? What do you want?
Well, we're both looking at...
the same sheet. They started with... Actually, I think they started with Senua's Saga.
They did. I'm pretty sure they started with that one. But we can just go in the order the sheet has.
Yeah, sounds good. Avowed by Obsidian.
So this is the one I'm not guaranteed I would not confidently bet is coming out this year yet.
Yeah, I feel like that this one and Indie both are like, these are gambles.
Those are the two that are gambles to me.
Yep.
Indie more than Avowed. Avowed, I probably give a 50-50 actually coming out this year. Indie, I actually think's more like 65-35 that it gets delayed.
Indie looked. I mean, I know they're setting up what they want us to see, but it looked really complete. You know, it looked
maybe
really full.
I don't know.
Yeah. So, but let's talk about Avowed first. What
Yeah.
was your reaction to Avowed?
Fine. I feel like this is another place where I'm. Unfortunately, Baldur's Gate has changed my perception of what I want out of a game like this. And the combat looks fine. It's the first person magic combat. But to me, the like character interactions when they were saying that just still felt very stagnant. Very, yep, I'm staring at someone. They're staring at me, and not a whole lot of camera movement and.
Well, especially that one cutscene where the guy talked about being a big dumb baby or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. There's just some pieces to it. I'm just like, I feel like what I expect from this genre now has changed. Between Cyberpunk and Baldur's Gate, just showing like, hey, Baldur's Gate just a quality of facial expression, an emotional read off of NPCs, and then Cyberpunk for being like, hey, you don't have to be static while conversations like this happen. Like, you can make the NPCs feel like they're living in a world while they talk to you. And I know every game's not going to hit that, but I also am like, well, this is a big Obsidian Microsoft CRPG. I kind of expect a certain level of polish out of that. But it feels very influenced by the Bethesda style of go up and talk to someone, get your list of options, watch them talk at you with somewhat dead eyes.
It feels like they're a version of Skyrim here.
It's unfortunate, but that's the part that worries me about it. And it worries me because I actually generally like Obsidian's games and the like Pillars of Creation series, and this is in the same world. They just call it Avowed, but I'm like, this is Pillars of Creation 3, kind of.
Yes. Right. Just it's a completely different perspective and etc.
But I mean, it's the same world. It's another story in that world. So I'm very curious on how that goes. Like, combat could be fine, but it does look like the first person Skyrim-ish combat.
Yep. It looks VR-ish to me.
Yeah, I could see that. And without playing it, it's hard. I watch it in videos, and I'm like, it doesn't. That type of combat in trailers has never looked amazing. Yeah,
right. I wonder if they're kicking themselves for changing their perspective after the success of Baldur's Gate 3 that we're seeing.
Actually, I thought one of the people at Obsidian talked about, like, it was a weird thing of saying, like, hey, if we could have a budget like Baldur's Gate 3, that we could make a really kick-ass CRPG. And I'm like, well, you're owned by Microsoft. I'm pretty sure they could give you a budget like that.
And maybe they should now after the success of Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
But I mean, Xbox misread completely. They're like, we can get that on Game Pass for $5,000 or $5 million or whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah, I think that's and that's my sadness with it. I'm hoping it's good because I want another game in this world, but watching it did not stand. Nothing really stood out to me. Like, and even from watching the thing, like I wasn't like there wasn't any of the writing. I was like, oh, I love this writing even that they were showing right now. Like, I need more, and that's why I'm kind of iffy on this game actually coming out right now.
Yeah, because they want it to be good, so the previews aren't that great. Just delay it. I could see that happening. The reason I picked it up was I think that it will be better than people's perception right now. So I think that could help with the score. And also we have 36 games to pick up. So I did.
Got to pick up some.
Got to pick up something, but I did actually picked up 4. So maybe I went a little overboard. But I am pretty excited about Frostpunk 2. Even though I've never played the first one, the Frostpunk 2, like watching the trailers for the new one, like it looks like a story-based game that looks up my alley. So
nice.
See. But anyway, back to the _direct. Yeah, I agree. For me, I just have a hard time with first person. I don't prefer first person games, and I really don't prefer watching first person games where I'm not playing them. So it's better to play it. But I'm just much more. My preferred genre is a 2D side scrolling platformer. And besides that, I like to see third person action games where I can see the person. So, which makes the choice of indie, where they're going to do first person, but then pull out for 3D traversal and stuff like that, kind of interesting.
Yeah. So that was Avowed, and then they went to, well, this next thing just had Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2, which actually got dated. I had already picked this one up, thinking it was going to come out. So May 21st. Mm-hmm. I even if this gets pushed, it's not getting. They gave a specific date. It's pushed. Maybe a month at most. But I don't even think it will be. They specifically like this article list, and they stated in the thing it's actually going to be shorter than the first game.
I think it's a chance. They said 7 to 9 hours.
They want to tell just an intense story in that time.
I feel like that, like with I have not finished the first one, but it was really intense for me, and even just an hour and a half that I played, I'm like, wow, I could not do 20 hours of this. Yeah, so I think it's a good choice. It's a really good choice.
Oh, interesting. I didn't realize the script writer and the performance capture director are the same person.
It's interesting because the person who is the subject of the performance capture was also another role in the studio. I can't remember now.
Okay. Laura Durham is.
Yeah, I see that here. Yeah, the script writer.
That's just crazy. I don't know if I can play this game or not. It's kind of gonna be pretty intense and crazy. This one might be one I'd pick up Game Pass to play. I'm like, I won't. There's a good chance I won't finish it, but
at least check it out.
A month of Game Pass is perfect for trying something like this that I know I won't be picking up fully for myself. But it looks really good.
It looks amazing. Like maybe the best game I've ever seen, just from what they're showing us. Who knows what it's going to look like. But I mean, we can kind of tell from the first one was also really amazing looking.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a win for Game Pass. This whole developer direct, and like this might be a good year for Game Pass in general. I mean, Palworld's on Game Pass right now. Blah blah blah.
Yeah. And I think this is, out of all the games that they showed, I think Hellblade 2 is probably the one I expect that will score the highest review-wise. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It just looks like it has. I wouldn't say it's not the right word, but it has a lot of passion behind it and heavily crafting this experience. Like they have a vision, true vision that they're really trying to hit.
Oh here. Yeah. Well, I mean, they've been iterating and sanding down the rough edges of this game for fucking years, man.
Yeah.
And if it's coming down to like a 7 to 9 hour experience, like really, they are probably. Yeah. It's probably polished to a sheen,
Yeah.
I would imagine so.
The next one on the list, I was actually surprised it was here.
Yeah, me too. And Visions of Mana is what I assume you're talking about.
Yeah, I am.
It was announced. Yeah,
the co-marketing with Microsoft, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although it's coming out on every platform, so.
Well, not every platform.
Or not Switch.
Enough.
Sure.
Well, is it coming out on Switch too?
Oh, sure. In
You
summer,
know?
I mean that's the thing. And the definitely could be a game that they're like they do a version when Switch 2 launches.
Exactly. They just can't
But
say it yet.
as far as we have now, it's on everything except Switch, which makes sense because I just don't think it would run well on Switch.
Yeah. Really? I don't know if it
Yeah.
seems that visually taxing, but yeah,
it
I
does
trust
to
your
me.
judgment on that. Yeah.
It feels like if they're going to try to get it running on Switch, they would have to sacrifice
Draw distance and whatever else.
a lot of visual fidelity that they actually want for this game.
Yeah, because it looks good. I think so.
I think so too. I think the art direction is great, and it's crazy that we're getting a brand new Mana game. It's been
20 years
since the. Of course, there's like remakes and remasters and stuff that have come out. Like, when was the last true Mana?
I'm gonna go with 15 years. That's my guess.
Potentially.
It's been a while.
What was Echoes of Mana? Oh, that might have been collection. No, maybe there was one actually in 2020.
That was the collection, I thought.
There's Echoes of Mana. Main series. No. Echoes of Mana was not a main series. This is the first main series Mana game since Dawn of Mana in 2006.
Okay.
Spin-off
so nearly 20
is
years. 18 years.
Echoes of Mana is an Android and iOS game. Never mind.
There you go.
It's a free-to-play action RPG on mobile, and I don't know if it came out in the West.
Because Trials of Mana came out, and that was a remaster?
I think so. I'm almost
Revival, third game in the series. Originally released in Japan as Seiken Densetsu 3, has been fully rebuilt from the ground up in 3D. Got it. So that was a basic remake.
Yep.
And then Legend of Mana, obviously, and Secret of Mana. Secret of Mana is the one that I played.
Yeah, Secret of Mana is probably the one that a lot of our generation knows.
Mm-hmm. I love that game.
Secret of Mana was really good. That box art is just like burned into my brain.
Oh, yeah. I would rent that from Figuritos over and over and over.
Oh, yeah.
So much.
Oh, man. Figuritos. Holy cow.
Yeah, man. We probably ran into each other there and we didn't know each other then.
Probably.
Oh, man.
Definitely from... I mean, I was in Scotia for many years. But whatever our 8th grade year was, I still went to Scotia for finish out school. I lived at the house that I lived at when you met me.
Yeah.
And I definitely was renting lots of SNES games.
Hell yeah, dude.
During that time.
That was the era when I rented stuff the most, was the SNES era. Although we would rent an NES before I got an NES.
Sure. But man, yeah, likely there's a good chance that we're renting the same games, at least.
Yep, totally.
There's not many places to rent in that town, so.
Nope, that was about it. So yeah, I think the thing that stands out to me from this is that the Game Pass was not mentioned for this game, and none of the other ones are on Game Pass. So I was like, oh, interesting. This is just a marketing beat.
Yeah, I don't think this is probably coming to Game Pass, to be honest.
Yeah.
It really is just co-marketing. Microsoft has given Square some money to say, hey, we will market this game for you guys. Which makes sense because Sony gave Square a bunch of money for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
But they gave them money for exclusivity.
Yes.
Would a publisher give someone money to advertise for them?
Yes.
Or does it... Really?
Yeah,
okay.
It's co-mark. That's the cool. It's money in the sense that Microsoft will pay for some of the marketing costs.
Yeah, got it.
Square is not paying Microsoft for this. Microsoft is paying Square.
Interesting. Okay. I thought Square would want to be putting its thing out there for more people to see and be paying Microsoft for it.
No. Nope.
Huh.
They probably bid it to all the publishers on who wants what.
Yeah.
And based on like how much they're willing to put up in marketing money for it.
Yeah.
So like basically Microsoft probably presented, hey, we'll do a $10 million marketing campaign for this game.
I see what you're saying. So that there'll be no marketing materials for this game that has PS5 on it.
Nope.
Got it. Okay, yeah, I get that. That's right. I'm interested in the next one from your perspective because you're a Civ person. This is Oxide Games putting Ara History Untold.
Yeah. So, I'm not sold.
Uh-huh.
That's really what I watched it. I was like, okay, we're wanting to make a Civ. I wouldn't call it a Civ killer. They want to make a variation of Civ.
Yeah, I didn't think it was a Civ killer.
I'm just not sure yet, because there's been a lot of games trying to kind of, I won't say outdo Civ, but do Civ differently, and they all haven't been fantastic.
Yeah.
It's a hard genre to break into, and I need more time to see this one more. Like, I like the concepts of it, and it's overall seems pretty neat. There is some interesting. I'm gonna see how they pull this off. The game will end early if they determine you don't have a chance of winning.
Oh, interesting.
But I'm like, what does that mean? I don't.
On like turn 3, they're like, "You're done. You're not."
Yeah, that's what I'm like. At what point do we decide that? And do you have to follow through with it, or can you go like, "That's a challenge. I'm gonna win now." But I get. I mean, that's always the problem with the big 4X games is a game lasts 20 hours, 30 hours, one game, and it's like, well, you actually lost 10 hours before the end of the game. You just didn't know it.
Yeah.
And they're trying to solve for that, but I'm like, it's a hard problem to solve for, and I'm curious on the way that they're going about it. I think they said there's like, it's not just arbitrary time, but it's like there's games are split into 3 acts, and if you don't have enough of a meta currency for between act changes, the game will just end for you. And you're not the one. Only all the civilizations are pushing forward, so some civs will just fall away after each act, and you could be one of them when you're playing. So I'm curious. Again, there's not enough info for me to make a good judgment on that. It could be interesting, and the fact that you're like, man, I just got a bad start, so the game's gonna end and I can start again.
I think it looks beautiful. I don't know much about Civ. I played, I probably put 3 hours into any version of Civ I played. So I'm not sure what it does differently than Civ. But the thing that I found the most interesting from this is the one game on this developer _ direct that is not coming to Xbox box. It's not coming to the box. It's PC.
Just PC.
Yep. So it's like you need a keyboard and mouse. You
really do. This is they're not trying to figure out how to play a Civ game on a controller. They're just like, nope, not doing it. It plays best with keyboard and mouse, and that's what you get. That is interesting. That I hadn't even thought about that. This is the only PC only.
Yeah.
So they're still trying. They want to give PC Game Pass players something just their own. Again, this would be another thing that I might pick up a month of Game Pass for, to just play a couple games and figure it out. I'm not the person that just plays the Civ games religiously. I enjoy playing them some, and then I move on.
Yeah. Is this Oxide Games? Is this a company that's owned by Microsoft, or Xbox Game Studios is just publishing the game?
They are private. They are not owned by Microsoft.
Okay.
The studio was founded in January. Brad Wardell? No, I refuse to buy this game.
Uh-oh.
I hate Brad Wardell. Sorry. I will actually actively not talk crap, but be like, nope, will not touch anything this person ever does. So
interesting. I'll have to ask you off mic.
Nope.
What's up?
Nope. Brad Wardell. Okay. Out. Wipe my hands of that one.
Never.
Right. Moving on.
moving on to Indy. How do you feel about Harrison Ford or Troy Baker?
There's a weird. Okay, I'll go with positive first. Looks like a real fun adventure. Machine Games. Yep. On board. They can make a cool action game. There's an uncanny valley though. That I'm having a hard time with.
I've heard other people say the same thing.
With how the character actually, like, the voice is close enough. It's not always, and sometimes I get some dissonance to myself of like, that's not Harrison Ford. But the actual, like, model and face, a lot of times really bug me. Like, I know what Indiana Jones looks like. I know what Harrison Ford looked like. And this isn't exactly Harrison Ford in it.
They're trying real hard.
They're totally trying real hard, but it's not Harrison Ford. And I don't know. Like, I watched through this whole thing in the trailers, and I was just like, the music comes in, and I'm like, I'm here for that, and that's the nostalgia just like really hitting in. And then I'd see Indy and be like, that's like the your mom saying, well, you don't need Indiana Jones. We have Indiana Jones at home. I don't know. I think it's gonna be hard in that way, and I get that they couldn't get Harrison Ford exactly, but I do feel like they could model the character better in some ways. I'm not sure what's up with that.
Is there any way to do that between now and when it releases?
Yeah, but there's also the question is, how much do you bet that Harrison Ford would have even agreed to sit down to be like facial scanned? Because I don't think he did.
I doubt it, and I don't know how that useful that would be, because and I don't know how this works, but like it's Indy from not a 80-year-old man Indy.
Yeah, they're trying to make Indy from Raiders time frame.
Yeah, between Raiders
areas.
Yeah.
Before Last Crusade, I think. After Raiders of the Lost Ark, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't get it, so they're trying to remodel this off of film footage more than anything. And even this picture on this page, I'm like, it just hits the uncanny valley. That's all it does to me.
Yeah.
Because it's real close, but just not there.
I agree. And I feel like it's the same, and it doesn't bother me that much, only because I've not watched any of these movies. I don't know this story.
What?
I don't know this kid. I'm correcting it this year.
I know you are, but I'm actually just, I'm like, oh, wow, okay.
I've never watched Indiana Jones. I've ridden the Indiana Jones ride at Disneyland.
Okay. I mean, that's pretty cool.
It was that ride is rad. So I'm looking forward to knowing about Indiana Jones before I play this. But I think in general, again, I'm just pushed off of first person. Although when I'm playing it, it's fine. But I really like that there's the third person perspective, because his silhouette is pretty iconic.
Oh yeah, when it's not the face, when it's just the silhouette with the hat and the whip and everything, I'm like, yep, that's awesome. They nailed that.
Yep.
And it looks like it has just big set piece moments, which is cool. But we'll see. They just said later in 2024. They didn't give any date for this game. They just
said not at all.
And that's where I'm like, this is the one I could see slipping for sure.
It's the play of dates where we had, for this one we had a year, for Avowed we had a season and a year, and then for Hellblade it was day, month,
and date.
Yeah. So I agree with you. I think it was a risk for me to try to pick these up, but
I think
reward.
This one's going to be an interesting one to see if it will come out, because I feel like they'll hold this one if it's not ready.
I feel like this was announced so long ago. Theoretically, it could be ready.
That's true.
Theoretically, just because of how long it's been. I think this one's less risky for me. That's exactly what you said earlier. I'm more worried about Avowed hitting this year. They don't want another Redfall. So and people have not been super high on this game. So, but I don't know, man. Cydia makes good games. So,
yeah, they do. They generally have. It's the only thing with Avowed that is like, are they biting off more than they can chew with that game?
Yeah.
Does it just need more time to cook? Not that they can't make it great. It's just it might need more time to cook in a post 2023 world of games.
Yeah. But I mean, post Baldur's Gate, everyone.
Yeah, let's just be honest. It's just post Baldur's Gate chain. I think you have to reevaluate what you're doing.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm just looking at Machine Games. They did the last couple things they've done. Been Quake things? Quake Dimension of the Machine.
Did you say Machine Games?
Yeah, this is stuff Machine.
That's Wolfenstein.
No, but this is stuff that they've worked on. They did all the Wolfenstein stuff, and then 2021 and 2023 they worked on 2 Quake things: the enhanced version and Dimension of the Machine, which was released at 2021 at QuakeCon, and that was what brought Quake to all the platforms. Interesting.
Okay. Because Quake came out on Switch in the last 2 years.
Oh, they didn't. They didn't do that. Night Dive did that, but Machine
Okay.
Games made 2 new episodes that released with it.
What the fuck?
They made Quake. They made Quake episodes. That's real weird. And they made an episode for Quake 2 enhanced version as well. But yeah, the last thing, like main thing that they worked on was Wolfenstein Youngblood. This looks to be.
Yep, that's right. Which was not received super well.
Yeah. Yeah, especially after like the new Colossus. I know that one was received pretty damn well.
Oh yeah, dude. That one's a standout game. Okay.
Weird. Yeah, so they could have been working on Indiana Jones for a while.
Yeah, that's why I think it's ready. And I think they want a big fucking year. And I think they're starting off strong, man. This year it's just bleed over from 2023, but fuck, we're starting it off great.
Yeah.
And I'm basing that just on Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown and Palworld.
Sure.
But there's, I'm excited about small surprises, and both of those are small surprises. So
yeah, definitely. That was that. Right. I mean, that's a great way. What have we been playing? We talked about Palworld at the front. I played some Palworld, and that's fine. But what have you been playing other than that?
I joined the club. I rolled credits on Elden Ring.
Yes. That's right, you did.
I'm so proud of myself and so happy. All it took was I had gotten further than I had thought, because I thought I was.
Oh yeah, you were pretty close. I knew you were close. Once you reminded us in Discord, where I'm like, oh, that's right, you were right before the fire giant, basically.
I was. Yeah, I thought I was before the capital, but I had apparently gone through the capital and cleared the capital boss, basically, which I had forgotten about. So Travis basically helped get me to the fire giant, which is all that I needed. He got me to the fire giant. We tried to beat it 2 or 3 times, couldn't.
I hate that fight. I hate that fight.
Well, it's interesting because with Travis, we got it down pretty low, but couldn't quite make it, and he needed to go to bed. So I probably did it 2 more times. And to be perfectly honest, no offense, this is not about Travis. This is about the way Elden Ring is set up. My summon was stronger than he was.
Sure.
Just because they nerf the shit out of your character when you play multiplayer.
Oh, okay.
Which I didn't know. It reduces your stats, and then it takes your health flasks down by half, I think.
Oh, okay.
So it nukes you, so you can't come in and just like stomp to win. But that happened at the end. So he got me the fire giant, and then me and my mimic tier summon just rolled through the bosses. They were not super hard, but not super easy. It took me a while. What's his name? The warrior, Horath Low, maybe. Anyway, he is the one that I had the most trouble with, but it probably took me like 40. Actually, I know how long it took me. It took me 47 minutes, and many retries. Each try was like 2 or 3 minutes. To really get it, and it felt just fucking awesome. Every single time I beat a boss, it felt awesome. And I knew throughout the whole game that I was gonna be facing this fucking guy who's at the round table hold, the all-knowing Gideon guy. And when you show up and he's there, I was like, all right, that's what I thought. And that was a pretty straightforward fight.
Yep.
So everything was cool, and then I got to Radagon, and even he was fine. Like I played a couple of times. And I beat him, and then I was able to beat him pretty easily. Once I really got the patterns down, I would probably use like 3 or 4 health flasks. But the Elden Beast was where I got fucking stomped repeatedly. And
Another
I didn't
fight
really. I hate. I loved it. It was beautiful. It was like ethereal. It felt really like you're fucking killing a god, and it felt like I was killing a god. It really felt like what's the word I'm looking for? I wish I were more religious, so I would know the word. But it really felt like a god. But for me, at least, because I'm a melee character, I felt like the arena was so huge I couldn't get close.
And depending on its attack pattern and its teleporting, you just spend all your time running.
That was it.
I'm not a huge fan of that fight. Because with that specific one, if you're not... I've seen people playing Magic at it, and
that'd be totally different. Yeah, if I were doing Magic, I would have continued to beat my head against the wall, but I knew it just, at least I thought and I felt like it was RNG in that if the Elden Beast attacks in a way where I can stay close to it, I think I could do okay.
I got this. Yeah,
but it would probably take me like 30 or 40 tries of that iteration to get it.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to get 40 of that iteration. So I was like, all right, I'm going to call a cooperator. So I called a cooperator, and it was really cool because, obviously we're not talking to each other. But the cooperator let me do most of the battle.
Okay.
Especially with Radagon. And then with the Elden Beast, I started the battle, and then I couldn't get to it. So then he went and got to it. And then I probably took, I don't know, the first eighth or so off of its thing, maybe more off its health bar, and then I just couldn't get to it. So then this guy it was a fucking guy at the jar and just having just fucking naked punching with fucking boxing gloves, basically.
Nice.
It was really cool. And then I came in for he probably took down 2/3 of its health, and I came in for the end. I feel like I finally finally caught up with it at the end, and just started rivers of blood and fucking going nuts. It was really weird to change my approach at the end there, and I wonder if I would have still been fine, because I don't know if significantly is the right word, but my health pool dropped quite a bit because I put a lot into Arcana to use River of Blood.
Sure.
But River of Blood is fucking goat.
Yeah, it's insane.
God. Yeah.
Now it is. It was always decently good. Moonveil was just better until they nerfed it.
Yeah.
Moonveil was... There's a reason why Moonveil got nerfed real hard. I just happened to beat the game before they nerfed it.
Very, very cool. Very cool.
But yeah, you play it and you're like, this seems way stronger than it should be. I can poise break people from real far away. That seems real dumb. And I can poise break bosses real easily. So
yeah.
Especially. So that's cool that you beat it, though. Yeah, the beast fight is annoying as melee. I will give you that.
Yeah, exactly. That's just I feel good too, even though I had to call in a cooperator to finish it, that I was able to participate. But also, I felt good that I was able to read it and say, because of what I'm melee, this is not going to work because of how this character is. It's just not going to. It's going to be days to get the right iteration of this fight. So I'm just going. I want to end it now.
Yeah.
And it felt good. I feel good. I feel really, really proud to have rolled credits after like 90 hours in that game. And I'm really excited that this year my orientation is I'm going to mostly try to play older games, play through my backlog. Sure. There's so many good things. So it sent me back to obviously Baldur's Gate to finish it, at least finish one ending. But back to Elden Ring, and I was like, holy fuck, this game is so goddamn good. I almost restarted. I wanted to restart, and I was like, nope, keep going, play other stuff.
Yep.
But it's great, man.
It really is. And with how it affected me mentally, I'm fear ever going back to the game. I don't know if I'll play the expansion, which is sad, but it's definitely, I'm actually scared about playing this game.
Yeah.
Because even when you were talking about it, I could feel like this desire to just dive into it again. And I'm like, this was not healthy for me.
No. I didn't get to the point where you did, but it's the reason why I stopped playing. I stopped playing and had to play Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. I needed something happy, something shiny. And I was like, I can't go back to Elden Ring. And I didn't for a long time. But I'm glad I went back and beat it. I feel that is such a jewel in my crown. Like I beat I know it's like, quote unquote, maybe the easiest FromSoft game, whatever, but I don't give a fuck. I used its tools to beat it, so I feel happy.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah,
you did it, and finally.
I did it, and then I moved over to Final Fantasy 16, which is the next one I'm doing. Boy, that game is fucking a spectacle.
It is.
Wow. I got to the point where Joshua and Clive are fighting together against Bahamut. and you go to space and combine, and it gets fucking crazy.
It gets insane, and that fight just keeps escalating and going, and just you're like, what is this game even?
Yeah.
They at least I'm like sitting on now, any of its faults in anything. I'm like, they may set out to make a spectacle of the game, and they did. And they made some really good characters at the same time. Like, Dion is a great character. I love that character from the game, and I think they did a good job with that character through the entire game.
Yeah.
Oh, and that Bahamut fight. And the music. Oh, the music on the Bahamut fight.
The music is
so
killer.
good.
It is killer. Absolutely.
But you get to go Super Saiyan and merge together and all. Ugh.
And now I have Bahamut stuff.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I guess there's probably 2 more icons to go. It should be based on the wheel, maybe. Like space for 2 more, perhaps.
Yeah.
The only problem with the game is I only play at night, really. So then, like, there were just massive cutscenes after the battle. Or was it before the battle? No, it was after the battle.
Yeah.
And I was like, trying so hard to stay awake.
Sure.
And it's not that it wasn't interesting. It was, but I was like, fuck, I'm tired. And I'm not doing anything. I'm just watching it. Oh, wake up. So I probably missed something. I probably dozed for a second or 2.
Yeah.
But that's my next one, man. I'm going to beat that one now.
That seems like worth it. I don't think you have that much longer to go. Especially since you're not doing a lot of the side stuff. You should be able to get through it pretty quickly.
Yeah, I'm gonna just mainline it.
Yeah.
IGN's guide says I probably have like 13 or 14 chapters to go, like individually named things. I'm like, that seems like a lot, but maybe they're short. I don't know.
Kind of. I mean, some of them are. I'm like,
I feel like there's like 40% of the game left, but maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe. Hard to say.
Yeah.
Night of Flames. I don't think so. I think you'll be surprised how quickly you kind of move through it, especially if you're not doing the side stuff. Actually, I think you'll just feel like you're going to watch a lot of cutscenes, not doing the side stuff.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Yeah, exactly. Which is fine. I'm interested in the mainline stuff, so, and interested in getting through games this year. So,
yeah, that's very cool. Man,
how about you? What have you been playing?
I haven't done any new. Yeah. It hasn't. It's not new things. I finally go ahead.
Nope. I was gonna say. I remember what you said you were playing, so I'll let you go.
Yeah, I picked up and finally, after a little over a year of actually owning this game, 13 Sentinels.
Awesome.
I've put about 4 or 5 hours into it overall so far. Yeah, it's a wild game. The art is amazing. It's Vanillaware, and it looks amazing. It's the 2D animation that they do. They did Odin Sphere and Dragon's Crown. Unicorn Overlord in a few months will be theirs. Yep. They just have an art style. A 2D art style animation that's really, really neat. But this is like a weird combination of multiple branching path visual novel type thing, and then real-time strategy with mecha, but you're not like seeing the mecha. It's like a tactical map of a city from 3/4 view, and you see the enemy as like enemy icons on a radar, and your guys' icons on a radar, and you cycle through them. They have special abilities that you can upgrade and do all sorts of things, and you're defending stuff. Different types of weapon attacks that do different area effects. So it's a strategy game in that regard, and those are short. They only last for a few minutes, but majority wise you're spitting it playing through 13 different stories of characters and unlocking story in these visual novel segments that also includes time travel, because the story definitely includes time travel.
And
it is weird in kind of the best way. And really, you don't get the full brunt of the game until you get through the prologue, which took me like 2.5 hours to get through.
Oh, wow.
You play a starting story of every character, and you do like 7 battles that kind of linearly progresses you through it. And then you finish that, and then the main when you load into game, it just changes the main, not the main menu, but your like main screen whenever you've loaded a game to being like, hey, do you want to see all your data files? Do you want to do remembrance stuff, or do you want to do battle stuff? And you just freeform can just decide what you're doing, and what character you're focusing on, and you can start going on the characters and see the narrative tree that you're building, and like where different branch points are with question marks saying like, you're like, the first character I chose had from the first scene had 3 different branches off that first scene. I've done 2 of those branches, and those branch into other story elements. And you can jump to different points of these stories. So if you don't have to play through them all over and over completely, you can be like, okay, I have 2 branches of the subtree. I'm going to jump to that story point and see if I can figure out how to trigger the other branch I don't have. To collect all these story beats.
Oh, interesting.
And start piecing together the story that's happening, because no one has full memory and recollection of what's going on. So it's weird. And then like stories are locked behind battles, so you have to do the battles every once in a while to unlock chunks of new story stuff that you can do for different characters.
Is it because you're unlocking memories, or
yeah,
it's just...
basically?
Oh, okay.
Memories, I think, of their battles and things like that. They're starting to remember like, oh, we might not be high school students. We might be something else.
Oh shit! Okay. Do you find it's a game that you're going to stick with?
Yeah, I think I want to. It's just a little like, once I got dumped past the prologue, was real overwhelming of being like, oh my god, I have so much choice now.
Yeah.
Where you're like, what should I be doing? And really the answer is whatever you want to be doing. There's no right or wrong way to start approaching it at that point. Just like, choose a character you like, progress on their story paths. If you feel blocked, go fight a mission. Jump back and forth. Use currency stuff you get out of the story elements to unlock like additional, I think they call them memory files, basically, to get like more history and details of different characters. It's a wild game though. I think it was rated pretty highly the year it came out for people who did spend time with it.
Oh, it was. People loved it.
And I can see that like there's hooks there, and there's definitely quite a big mystery of like, well, what's going on? What is happening? What has happened? What will happen? Yeah. I'll continue messing with that one for sure. It's what got me to get the Switch finally from my TV back to my computer desk and all hooked up there, so I can do stuff.
Oh, you're playing on Switch?
Yeah, I own it on the Switch.
Okay.
I actually physically own this game on the Switch. Yeah, it runs fine.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I have a physical copy of this game.
I think I got it on PS5. I think that's where I have it.
Yeah, I can't tell that
PS4,
it's running poorly on the Switch. I can't imagine that the visual novel elements would run badly on the Switch, and then the RTS combat stuff maybe at some point, but it's so abstract that maybe I'm not getting all the effects that go on like the PS5 version, but it's an abstract tactical map. I don't know what I'm missing, basically. So yeah, I've put time into that, and then I have played about 3 hours of Fire Emblem Awakening. I am finally back to the mission that I played, the last mission I did or attempted when a coworker let me borrow the game in 2012.
Oh my god, you are resuming a game that you last played in 2012?
Yeah, I played like four missions.
Oh my god,
because I just played it in person at work.
In for a treat. This game is rad.
So yeah, because I picked up a physical copy of that from, I will shout them out, Pink Gorilla Games in Seattle, Washington, retro game store. If you visit, go find one of their shops. They're fun to just browse. So I picked up a physical copy of that and felt like playing it. Yeah, it seems rad. I think I had never done a Fire Emblem before that coworker let me just play some while at work. And it didn't really stick with me then so much. It was like really Three Houses was the one that stuck with me. and made me like, oh, I understand this game now.
Yeah.
So now I'm playing Awakening. I'm like, oh, I get this. I just get it, and I can just play it. And that's great. And I love the 3DS as a console. So
I feel like, yeah, for sure. Like that. What a fucking great console. What a great console. I feel like thinking about Three Houses, thinking about Engage, Awakening is like the right mix of those two, where the story doesn't suck. It's not, it's not the same thing as Three Houses, obviously, in any stretch of imagination.
No.
But also the tactical combat is, maybe I think Engage is second only in my mind to that from the ones that I played, at least. Yeah. So it's a great, goddamn, what a great one.
My question to you is, do I get, is it Conquest and Fates? They had both of those there physically. And I was like, do I get those?
There is no way that you can get them otherwise now. You can't. I got them on the eShop. So
no, you can't. You have to get them physically. And I'm just like,
exactly.
Where do they fall for you?
I did not enjoy them as much. But I still really liked.
Oh, I should say Fates.
Yeah, because Birthright and Conquest. It's like
that's right. There's the two different copies. It's Fire Emblem Fates, Birthright, and then Conquest. And there's no way to get the DLC at this point.
There's no way to get the third.
Oh, that's actually true. In one of the Pink Gorilla stores, they have a copy for sale. That has the DLC.
How much is that?
It's a lot.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It's in the rare case, and it's definitely over $100 and maybe over $200.
Because it was hard to get when it came out. So I got Birthright, which I loved. I really like Birthright. I tried to play Conquest, and it was like the other pathway, and it was quite a bit more difficult. I would say, yeah, I think that game, Birthright, is fucking great. It's not as good as Awakening, but it's still really, really good. I just didn't play the other pathways.
Sure.
So I don't know what's worth. I think the only thing that stopped me from going to Conquest was just the difficulty, and I just played a huge, long Fire Emblem, and I just got kicked off of that and didn't come back to it.
Yeah.
I should go back to it though, because that's a Fire Emblem that I haven't played. But Birthright's nearly as good as Awakening. So
okay.
Yeah, I guess that's what I'd say. If you could find Birthright,
they have all their stores had Birthright, like
for a good reasonable price,
$35.
Oh yeah, that's no brainer. I think.
Yeah, these games, Birthright and Conquest were not in like their rare case. They were just on their wall of games.
I think if you play Awakening and you're like, I like this, I would like this to be a little harder.
Birthright, go to Birthright.
No, that's Conquest. It would be Conquest.
Oh, go to Conquest.
Yeah. Birthright is. I think the difficulty is the same as.
That's fine. I actually would be more like, which one has the stronger story more than.
Yeah, I didn't play Conquest. I don't know, but basically Conquest is where Birthright is where you are with the kingdom where you were not born in.
Okay.
I believe in Conquest is where you go with the one where you were born in. Great characters in that one too. Yeah, I don't know. Those are both classics, I think. Birthright and Awakening. So can't go wrong.
All right.
But man, I would be curious how much that. I mean, you have to be like a Fire Emblem super fan, to be honest.
Yeah. The next time I'm at one of the stores, if it's still there, I'll send a picture of it.
Oh my god, that'd be so cool.
Pretty sure that was the U District store where I saw that. No, it definitely was the U District store where they had that one in a rare case. Because I only went to I got Awakening from, right under Awakening was both Birthright and Conquest was at Cap Hill. And that was my first time ever going last week to Cap Hill. I've only gone to the U District store and the International District store. So there you go. Yeah, they definitely had one that was just like, yep, even has DLC all ready to go. And I'm like, is it an actual... It could be a console. It could be a DS. Like, they might be selling the game with a DS that has the DLC downloaded.
Oh my god, that's interesting. Because I thought they also had...
oh, they did. There was a bundle, wasn't there? That's what they were selling. Yes.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I'm gonna go look on Amazon real fast right now.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
But I'm really kind of going back. So I've got that. I've been playing Awakening and then some Palworld, and that's really all I've been playing in the past week.
Cool. Well, we've both been playing some good stuff this week.
Yeah.
Okay, Amazon does not like Awake Song 3DS. That's not a thing. What the fuck? Awakening 3DS. Let's see. Do you have?
No, there's an Awakening 3DS.
I know. That's what I'm trying to look for on Amazon to see if they have the Awakening limited edition Fire Emblem Awakening with Fire Emblem Awakening pre-installed, $600.
Yeah, but we're talking about Fates, right?
Oh fuck yes. Why did I put Awakening? God damn it. Because it's late and I'm an idiot. Fates. There we go. 3DS. I thought they also had one for that one. There it is.
Yes.
Yeah, Fire Emblem Fates Edition 3DS, the black and white one. $650.
Yeah, I'm seeing about $600 on eBay for that one.
Yep. So I would imagine the one you saw was pretty expensive in that time, in that zone, probably.
Yeah, roughly.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful. I remember trying to buy that and not being able to get it.
Yeah, it's probably not trivial to do that.
Yeah, exactly. So I would say not worth that much money. Just watch a YouTube stream.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
But if you can get Birthright, I think that's worth it. If you like, it's not rare. So play through Awakening, see if you like it, and then.
Yeah. I don't think I'll have a problem finding that one when I want it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, cool. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that was an awesome episode of Prof and Dev Play Games. If you like us, please rate us on your podcast service of choice. This was episode 416. It's pretty wild. And we will be back next week to talk about whatever the hell happens in the next week in gaming.
Yeah, we'll see.
It's an interesting start to the year, but I don't think we're going to have maybe we'll have an Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree announcement.
Could have that. There's a possibility of a Nintendo Direct anytime now.
Yeah.
There's a good chance. They like to do one in January.
And
they don't like to announce early. We'll know a couple days in advance at most.
Exactly. So could be an exciting week.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.
Later, everyone.